Hey guys, welcome to Catch Fire Podcast. It's me, Pastor Al. I'm so grateful you tuned in this morning, man. I'm telling you, your spirit is going to catch fire today because our guest is a great friend of mine. I've known him for over 10 years. He's been a great blessing in my life, a great blessing in our church. It's good to have Dr. Dave Martin back with us.
Hey, thank you, man. It's good
Dave,
to be here again.
Bro, man, it's like I haven't seen you in forever.
Well, yeah, there was some kind of pandemic that kind of stopped everything from moving for a while. But,
Jesus, I know.
So good. It's so good to be back.
And you look great.
With you. Thank you. I'm trying.
You look good, dude. You
I'm
really
trying.
do. Yeah.
It's
What
a
are you
lot of
doing?
work.
You just, yes, brother.
Yeah.
You and me both. And that's what I love. I love about my relationship with you is we like a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
One of them being food.
Yes.
I have some preacher friends, man. It's like they only eat salad.
Yeah.
But me and you,
Life's too short, right?
it's too short, man. You got to
enjoy life.
enjoy a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? But Dave, man, it's so great to have you, man. It's been a tough 2 years. And, today on the podcast, a lot of people are coming out of this pandemic a little bit disheveled, a little bit confused. It seems like the big word is reset.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people are like resetting their lives, resetting their relationships. But I think there's some people out there, too, that are kind of discouraged, right?
Yeah. It is a great time to, again, we've talked before about mindset. Again,
Right.
It's all how you look at it.
Right.
In this moment, can you use it to reset some things? Can you use it to prune some things that you don't want in your life anymore,
Right.
and so that other things can grow?
Yeah.
So when you look at it, I look at it as a positive thing. Yet,
Yeah.
not everything has been positive in
Sure.
it, but how we look at it
Yeah.
determines what we get out of it.
No, it's
And
very
so-
true. And I think, we talk, there's so many successful people out there that get it and they know how to move in times like these. But then there's like a group of people out there that they really tune into a podcast like this. They want to hear voices like Dr. Dave Martin or John Maxwell or different people on how they can take another shot. And you wrote a book some years ago called Another Shot.
Yeah.
And another thing we love is sports. We're both huge sports fans.
Right.
And behind me, if people have been tuning into the Catch Fire Podcast, I have my little statuettes of Shaq and Kobe. And, they were an inspiration. I got to see them.
I thought that was Magic Johnson.
It looks a little bit like Magic, right? But, they got that championship mindset, Mamba mentality. We lost Kobe.
Right,
That was
right.
another thing,
Yeah.
And so we've just been through a lot of tough times. But in your book, it talks about a game plan for rebounding in life. And what's this book about?
So many people look at life as a battle, right?
Right.
It's such a battle. We're always in the battle, fighting the battle.
Right.
I look at life more as a game, and the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, tell us exactly how to play the game, right? Tell us the principles and the plays.
So
it
good.
lays out the plays, it lays out the plan. All you got to do is, run the play.
And read it.
Yeah. And so, one of the big ones is sowing and reaping, right?
Right.
Giving and receiving. People think it's a money principle. It's a life principle.
Yes.
If you lie, you're probably going to get lied to. But if you say, I don't have any friends, maybe you're not friendly. If you cheat, you're going to get cheated on, right? So life is sowing and reaping. It's giving and receiving. And so you think about that. So you want another shot? Have you given other people another shot?
Ooh, that's so good.
So you think through all that. So I look at life as a game. So we talk about the game plan for rebounding or coming back. Like, well, you're talking about Kobe.
Yeah.
This whole book, actually, the title of the book came from Kobe. We were sitting in the lobby of the Island Hotel up in Newport.
Okay,
at the Island, Fashion Island.
Fashion
there.
Island,
Yeah.
I know well.
And just talking about basketball. And he had set the record in 2014. Kobe set the record for the most missed shots in the history of the NBA.
Yes.
Right?
I remember that.
Proud of that record, right?
Yeah,
Most missed shots.
I remember that.
But what's amazing is 7 days after he set the record for the most missed shots, he passes up a guy by the name of Michael Jordan for the most points scored during his career.
Yes.
So the same guy with the most missed shots passed up one of the greatest players of all time. I said, how did you do it? He said, I just took another shot. He said this. He said, you can't let the fear of failure or the fear of criticism keep you from trying again. And so often, we know fear paralyzes, right?
Absolutely.
And it paralyzes people, whether they have fear of a relationship that didn't work out, so they don't try another relationship, or a business that failed, or whatever it may be. we've all made some mistakes, right? We've all needed another shot every now and then. And so how do you get back up? I got on the elevator here last night. A lady looked at me. She goes, "You look like my third husband." I thought, talk about another shot. This lady's had a few of them, right? And I'm like, my goodness. I said, "How many times have you been married?" And she said, "Twice." And so I was feeling pretty good about myself. But anyway.
Come on, Dave. That's a good one, man.
But Kobe is so right.
Yeah.
All you got to do is take another shot. And so often, and he just kind of walked through, when he misses a shot.
Yeah.
In basketball, in that arena, everyone sees the missed shot.
Yes.
And then they replay the missed shot. Then they zoom in slow motion the missed shot. And then on the news the next day is the missed shot over and over. He goes, "My mistakes get blasted to the world over and over again."
Right.
And he goes, you gotta be able to say, "You know what? I still gotta try again."
Absolutely. And it takes a lot of courage. I mean, I think we all know what it is to fail.
Yeah.
I always say, I think Maxwell said you got to fail forward. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Absolutely.
Right? And so people get in fear and they never take a shot. I love this. I wrote this quote down, and it's a Michael Jordan, NBA legend. He said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career.
Right.
I've lost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted with the game-winning shot, and I missed.
Yeah.
I've failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed.
That's a very meaningful quote, because when I started a ministry called Urban Training Center in '97 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, we had 12 students, and the vision was big. We wanted to plant them all over the world. I had that poster hanging in my office the whole time I lived there, and there was a picture of him taking a shot with that quote. So, it's like you said, you got to just keep on trying. You got to keep on pressing.
There's a quote I think it's on the back of the book by Evander Holyfield.
Uh-huh.
And I mentioned these. I'm not trying to drop names when I'm talking about. I'm not a name dropper. But if anything I've learned from spending time with Oprah, it's that you shouldn't drop names. But I'm kidding. That was a joke. Sound like Tim Storr. No, I'm kidding. I love Tim. He's awesome. But
come on, Tim. Shout out.
Evander Holyfield, heavyweight champion of the world. He said it's not getting knocked down that makes you lose the fight. Mm-hmm. It's not getting back up.
That's right.
Right.
That's so good.
We're all going to get knocked down. You'll never lose if you just get back up. Get back in the game. You got to make some adjustments.
Yes.
But you get back in the game, realign yourself, and you take another shot.
Let me just take a minute. If you're watching this and you're discouraged, and get up, man. Live to fight another day. I always say you're either going to get busy living or you're going to get busy dying. And so in these times, I really feel like people got to get busy living, man. And it starts with small things, doesn't it?
Right. Well, most of the time, success isn't achieved on the first attempt.
Right.
The most successful people we know have got the most failures. What is it? Edison said, I didn't have 10,000 mistakes. I just found 10,000 ways it didn't work.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And so it's so important. Like I said, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a drug issue or alcohol, whatever it may be, hey, I messed up again. Well, get back up.
And I think there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who make mistakes or they fail. They feel like God's angry at them, or He's mad at them, and obviously He hates sin, but He loves us. And it's not that He's mad at us; He's madly in love with us. And the Bible says that He loves to see the work begin. Yeah. That's what the Scripture says. And I feel like people who are trying and people who are starting again, who are giving it another opportunity, the Lord rejoices over that, doesn't He?
I mean, if you've never made a mistake, you probably never made anything, right?
Hello,
right?
That's
We've all made mistakes. We've all had setbacks. We've all had failures.
Right.
But the difference is those who receive God's grace.
Yes.
Or have the discipline to say, you know what, it's not over. No. It's not over until He says it's over.
That's right.
And so I'm going to get back in there, and I'm gonna. Yeah, I wrote down just a list of some of the great rebounds and people who recognize some of these individuals. 1894, an English teacher wrote on a teenager's report card, a conspicuous lack of success that they wrote. That student was a guy named Winston Churchill, right?
All right.
1905, University of Bern turned down a doctoral dissertation as irrelevant and fanciful. The writer of the paper was Albert Einstein.
Hello, somebody.
Walt Disney. created, Mickey Mouse, dropped out of school at a young age, failed attempt at joining the Army, early ventures. He started Laugh-O-Gram Studios, went bankrupt. He was an unsuccessful business person, got fired from a newspaper for being not creative enough.
Jeez.
And goes on to, build the happiest place on earth.
Sometimes it's difficult for people to spot genius. Even like right now, we're living in a day where there's names like Elon Musk or Kanye West.
Yeah.
And these are like polarizing figures in today's society. But you can't argue with what they're producing. I mean, and it seems like when you're taking another shot, there's a lot of risk involved, and you're going to be misunderstood, aren't you?
Right. Well, I'm sure they could both give you a list of lots of failures.
Right.
And Kanye's, they show us those all the time on the news.
Yeah, we get to see them all the time.
Yeah. But, you go back to the Bible, right?
Right.
I mean, our greatest heroes in the Bible are some of the most messed up people that needed. I made a list of, I thought I made a list somewhere in here. But, oh, yeah, here you go. Here's a list of great comebacks from the Bible that you think God can't use you. You start thinking, man, I've made all these mistakes. How's God ever going to use me? You don't understand what I've done. How's God going to use me? And you feel like a failure. Well, Noah was a drunk. Abraham was too old. Isaac was a daydreamer. Jacob was a liar. Joseph was abused. Moses was a stutterer. Gideon was afraid. Samson had long hair. Just saying.
There you go.
Rahab was a prostitute. Leah was ugly.
Hello.
And not judging Leah. It's in the Bible, people. Timothy was too young. David had an affair and was a murderer.
That's
and
right,
murdered the guy that covered up, right?
Yeah.
Elijah was suicidal. Isaiah preached naked. Nobody wanted to see that.
Right.
Jonah ran from God. Naomi was a widow. Job went bankrupt. Peter denied Christ.
Right.
I mean, you're with Jesus. And
Yes.
you're hanging with Jesus. Like, I don't know him. Like 3 times.
Gosh, yeah.
Right? The disciples fell asleep while they were praying with Jesus. The Samaritan woman was divorced more than once.
Right.
And Zacchaeus was too small. Paul was too religious. Lazarus was dead.
Hello.
And God still used him. So
That's right.
what was that scripture, 1 Samuel 16:7? The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them.
That's right.
People look on the
Our
outside.
appearance, God looks at the heart. Well, even Jesus himself, some people could call him a failure. He had 12 disciples and one betrayed him.
Right.
So it's kind of amazing to think
Yeah.
of the type of people God uses when it comes to doing great things.
But yet they all decided to get up.
That's right.
And,
And
they-
so did
they-
Jesus.
Exactly.
They buried him.
Yeah, exactly.
Third day.
And there he is again.
He
Come
got
on.
up, man. Come on, somebody.
The greatest comeback of all.
There you go. That's
Right?
a preaching right there.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
actually what I'm preaching on Easter. The great comeback.
That's really good.
Come on.
All right. Awesome.
Greatest comeback story of all. But all throughout there you see it, and that's what I kind of teach in this book. I went through and thought about great rebounders, right?
Yeah, right.
You think of people like Wilt Chamberlain or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or Dennis Rodman. What do they have in common? They all play basketball. Yeah, they're all black. Yeah, they're all tall. Yeah,
Right.
They were all great rebounders.
Right.
And there was techniques that they had that caused them to be
Absolutely.
great rebounders.
Absolutely.
And one was their attitude, right?
Very good.
They all had the right attitude to get in there, to dig it out.
Right.
You got to fight for the rebounds.
You really
sometimes.
do.
You just stand around and look. The ball's not always going to bounce right back to you.
And then also they were in the right position.
Yeah.
I was listening to Dennis Rodman talk about why he was so skilled at rebounding, and he would predict where the ball was going to bounce. So he would position his body, get into the right place. I feel like there's so many people that the reason they're not having success is because they're in the wrong position.
Yeah.
They're in the wrong place. There's got to be a shift, right? There's got to be a shift in relationships. There's got to be a shift in mindset. There's got to be a shift in even behaviors, right? What do you think?
Yeah, and that attitude is the game changer in all of that.
Right.
Where do you see yourself? In position, your position. Where do you see the ball? Everything is all that is connected.
Yeah, it's all connected. Right.
I was there's a story, the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
And in this book, I got a lot of good sports.
Yeah.
And you may not even like sports. I'm telling you, the book has a lot of great techniques and things in there. But talking about a good attitude, it was a few years back, the Carolina Panthers had started the football season off, and Coach Ron Rivera got up and he wrote on the whiteboard the first day of the season, July 27th. Last day of the season, February 7th. Well, the last day of the season is February 7th. That means you're going to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And it was a pretty bold statement for him to make when he came in as coach, because the year before they had a losing season.
Right.
You know, they were like 7-8. They lost more than they won, but in fact, the odds in Sports Illustrated and all, preseason of the year, they were like ranked way at the bottom of them having a chance. I think they were the bottom ones, like 55-1.
I think so. Yeah.
That they would even have a chance. But there was something on the inside of him that said, "Hey, to the team, this is the last day of our season."
Absolutely.
And their attitude, everything shifted to think that way.
Yeah. So good.
And so there's got to be something inside of you that knows greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world, right?
Absolutely.
That the way people think determine where their future goes.
Absolutely.
So they got to start thinking like Super Bowl champions.
Right.
And it began with, "Hey, here's the last day of our season," right? So let's set our thoughts. They weren't given a chance in the natural, but they had to make a decision inside of them that we are Super Bowl champions. Their attitude determines whether or not they got back up, whether they pressed in practice, whether they didn't, whether they looked at it like, "Oh God, we got to play," whether it was a drudgery or whether it was a calling, an excitement. And so in all of our life, that attitude of how you see that determines so much.
It's funny. I feel like a lot of people, once again, going back to that word reset, and a lot of times when you're stepping into something new, you're stepping into something you've never done before. I mean, you really got to start on the bottom. I mean, you know what it is, Dave, and we've talked, and you've told me stories of how you started out in ministry and some of the things that you had to do, early on. I mean, you worked under some really big preachers, big ministers, just kind of came in serving. Yeah. I mean, maybe you can give a scenario of like how you started and what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, well, another technique, and there's effort. Right, you got to put in some effort.
That's good.
And I put in the effort. Did the hard yards. Right?
Yeah, bro.
Serving, and I think two of the most incredible things you can do is sow and serve. Right. And so I had the honor of serving others. But I think what you make happen for other people's dreams, God makes happen for your dreams.
Dude, that's so true. I always tell people the only way to the throne room is through the servants' quarters.
Right.
Everybody's got to go through the same door.
I always be nice to the chauffeur. It may be your only ride to the palace.
Jesus, right? So good.
People come in, well, who are you? Whatever. I'm like, hey, I'm nice to everybody. You never know.
There's a season for that. And I feel like, we're dealing with a new generation that maybe they need to be introduced to these concepts a little bit.
I had a dream. In 1995, I went to an event called Get Motivated.
Okay, good.
Went and an arena in Dallas, Texas, Reunion Arena, packed full of 20, 30,000 people. Right. Saw Zig Ziglar, the old school guys. Yeah. Man, one day, I want to do this one day. I never saw anything like this and didn't know how it ever happened. But one day I'm gonna speak at a Get Motivated event. Remember, I cut a picture. I have a wall at my house called my dream wall, where I have pictures on that wall of things I want in my future. I had a picture of the off the front of the magazine for Get Motivated one day.
It's good.
So years later, I'm at a little church in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, speaking at this church. I'm in the green room. There's a couple in the back that are just serving, right? Just helping, made me a tea, whatever. Right. And I'm nice to everybody. I'm not, and so we get talking. They said, "Have you ever heard of something called Get Motivated?" And I'm like, I have. I said, actually, it's been one of my dreams. It's on my wall for 20 years to get to go to speak at Get Motivated. They said, well, we've never done this, or I don't know, but we run all the backstage, green room, and hospitality for the Get Motivated events. We live here in Alabama, and they serve at this church, but that's what they do. And he's like, would it be okay with you if I introduce you to the owner of Get Motivated? Maybe. Wow. So in a little room, in a back room in Alabama, I meet a couple that opens up the door to the meeting with the owner of Get Motivated, who gives me 15 minutes. I'll give you 15 minutes. Meet me at Starbucks, you got 15 minutes. Good Lord. The 15 minutes turned into 2.5 hours. Wow. Favor. Wow. Which is a whole nother subject. But, and instead of just meeting me,
Right.
That day, he's like, I want you on every event that I have from now
Oh
on.
my goodness.
And but it's something that was a dream, something has to be seeable before it's believable before it's achievable. So I got a picture of it. But being nice to someone in the back room opened up the door.
But 20 years.
To the palace, a 20-year dream.
20-year dream.
Right.
And there's like a timing. Because I think we were talking about.
Kept working on my craft, kept putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, got knocked down, got this, you know. See the boxing glove back there.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Another great illustration is Emmitt Smith,
Yeah,
right? The old school running back has the record for the most yards run. I think it's, if you add up the yards, it's about 20 miles.
Wow.
The number of yards, I don't remember the number of yards he ran, but it comes to about 20 miles of running. But his average run was 4 yards.
Right.
So could you imagine running for 20 miles and every 4 yards you get knocked down?
Well, that's
and you
so
get up
good.
and you run 4 yards, knocked down, get up.
That's heavy.
That's what he did.
Right, and that's that resilience. And
it's the effort to get back
It's
up.
almost like you're getting knocked down more than you're getting. I mean, yeah, it's heavy.
But he never would have got the 20 miles if he hadn't kept getting back up.
That's right.
Getting back up.
Don't give up.
And so that's the key.
Don't give up.
A lot of times you'll win if you just don't quit.
That's right. It's like you outlive, outlove, and outlast people.
They asked Joel Osteen's dad, John Osteen, who'd built an incredible church in Houston before Joel ever came along, right? And they asked John, they said, how did you build such a great church here in Houston? He said, I guess main thing is I just been here longer than anybody else.
Yeah.
People came, people left, people started, people quit. He said, I just was persistent, just stayed, didn't give up.
So true.
And we built a great church. Sometimes you'll win if you just don't quit.
That's so true.
So
That's how I feel.
give up.
I mean, it seems like it's heavy. That's so powerful, man. That's so good, man. I think people are really, really getting some good out of this talk, man.
Well, it's encouraging. It's just having people around you. We talked before about relationships and having people around you. They're going to encourage you. Come on, you can do this, man. Come on.
Absolutely.
You got to have people around you say, you can get back up. You can do this thing again. Oh, it didn't work out the way we thought. Hey,
that's right.
And I'm one of those. I'm pretty quick. If it's not working, I'm not going to keep riding the dead horse.
There you go.
I'm going to jump off that thing pretty quick.
Absolutely.
And that's like not being prideful, right?
No,
some people get so prideful, they'll ride something all the way into the ground.
Yeah, it's got to work. Forcing it. They're just forcing it. Yeah.
And successful people are easy to go, you know what? That's not working. Let's try something else.
Pick up on it real quick.
Yeah.
You were talking about too, which I think is such an important thing. If you're resetting and you're recreating a new season, recreating success, trying to be successful at something new, I've learned that generosity is so important. And maybe in the last project, we were more on the taking end, but on the new project, I feel like there's an opportunity to be on the giving end. How important is it for a leader to practice generosity in order to be able to be successful?
Yeah, well, like we said in the beginning, sowing and reaping is not not just a money principle; it's a life principle. But it is also a resource principle. But being generous with my time, being generous with my talent,
Absolutely.
being generous with my treasure. I'm generous with opening doors for other people.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've never lacked for an open door. Because I've opened so many other doors.
So good
for people. I'm a networker. So I'm not trying to keep it all for myself. Hey, if I think this is going to help you, let me connect you with this person.
Right.
I mean, I've done that with movies, things like that.
Yeah, the book.
Hey, let me connect you with your book.
Yes.
I got someone that can help you do.
Yes.
And sowing and reaping is a life principle.
Absolutely.
So the Bible says the word of the generous gets larger and larger.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's people miss out on that part.
There's
it's
nothing more fun you can do with money than give it away.
Or even just sharing.
Yeah.
Because it seems like when you give, you also share in the victory.
Yeah.
You share in the fruit. You're able to rejoice together, right?
Well, we do think about giving a lot. We think about money, and I say money's like manure, right? If you store it all up in one place, it'll start to stink. But if you spread it around, it can do a whole lot of good, right? It's a fertilizer. It does a whole lot of good. So I'm always looking for ways. Nothing I love more than leaving a big tip for a waitress and just watching her face when she sees, the difference.
I love that too.
That it can make, looking for ways to help others and to build anything we do to build the kingdom, of course, is going to be
absolutely
incredible.
Absolutely.
So the word of the generous gets larger and larger. The word of the stingy gets smaller and
Good
smaller.
Lord.
And so many people are just holding on, and God can't pour more in if your hands are closed,
I
right?
agree.
It's not until you open your hands up that God can pour more in. And so I just try to live my life with an open hand.
Jeez.
You know, just let it keep flowing through me.
Absolutely.
Let it keep flowing through
Absolutely.
me. And like I said, whether it's generous with my words of encouragement to somebody else. I want to be generous. I want to be generous with my resources of how I can help somebody else. So in my whole life, I want to be, I just want to live my life with irrational generosity. Because I can't believe you gave all that,
Absolutely.
And I found that I keep giving it away, and God keeps bringing it back.
How about this? Irrational generosity will lead to ridiculous blessing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So true.
I mean, God is able to be so good when we give, because we know the Bible says we're going to receive in return.
Right.
You know, and it's like when you are just a giver and you're generous with your time, your talent, your treasure, He blesses you. You get that open window blessing, and the blessing's so big, it's almost like it could even be embarrassing. You're like, wow, I am so blessed. Not that we should be embarrassed about God's blessing, but God is able to take you so many places.
You know, giving and receiving is like breathing in and breathing out, right? You can't have one without the other. If all I do is give and never receive, someone asked me, Dave, which one are you? Someone said, I don't know. Are you still into all that giving and receiving? I'm like, which one are you against? Are you against the giving part, or are you against the receiving part? Because they kind of go together. It's like, are you for breathing in, or are you for breathing out? Well, I'm into both of them, because I wouldn't be living if I wasn't breathing in and breathing out. Giving always brings receiving, so it starts this cycle of blessings. When I give, God gives back to me. When I receive, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, and so out of my attitude of gratitude, out of my thanksgiving, God blesses me, and as God blesses me, I give. And as I give, He blesses me. And out of that blessing, I'm thankful. And out of that thankfulness, He blesses me. So I begin this cycle of thanks and giving. Thanks and giving.
Good
and it just
Lord.
begins to go around and around. It's like
so
my son. When I do something for him and he's like, Dad, you're the best. Oh, thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, son, what else you want? What else can I get for you?
Yeah.
You want to give.
Yes,
when
that's
there's
right.
that heart of thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's such a vital thing, that in the whole process of giving and generosity is we'd never forget the thankfulness. That
Never forget it.
I mean, we wouldn't have anything. The fact that we woke up this morning,
That's right.
some people didn't do that.
That's right.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be alive today. I'm thankful to be breathing today.
That's right.
And so out of that thankfulness, I want to give.
Yeah.
I want to give. And because I'm so grateful for what God's given me.
That's right.
And as I give, I receive.
That's right. That's right.
And so I think we can just all begin that cycle.
Yeah, and I think that cycle's so important, because a lot of people are making a living, but they're not building a life. And I really believe that we're in a season, we're in a time, we've been given a new opportunity. You talk about breathing in. That's not air we're breathing, that's purpose we're breathing.
Yeah.
If the Lord wanted to take us home, we would be there. But the fact that we're still here, and the fact that we have a new opportunity to create our future, we can do things different. And I really believe that being generous and taking risk and building new, this is a season for that. I really feel that's so important for some people.
Well, what you just said, there's a statement, I don't remember who made it, but you make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give.
So
right?
good. Yeah, right.
You make a living by what you get, you make a life by what you give. And if you want to raise the standard of your living, raise the standard of your giving.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm always trying to give more than I gave before.
That's right.
Whether it's in my effort, whether it's in my talents, whether it's in my finances. It's like working out. You go in the gym and you put 100 pounds on. Well, you start lifting 100 pounds. Well, pretty soon you got that down, and you got to add some weight on it. It's not going to do you any good anymore, right?
Absolutely.
So put a little weight on there and get it up to 150.
Yeah.
And once you get up to 150, you put a little weight on it. You get up to 200. And I think it's the same way in giving. I remember when I was giving 100, and then I remember the first time I gave 200.
Yeah, right.
And I remember the first time I gave 500 above my tithe. I'm just I'm being generous, and it's just like working out. I bench press now. I work my way up bench press now around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, right around that time. But you just it's the same thing. Am I giving? I'd love to be able to give 10,000,
right,
20,000.
Yes,
100,000.
yes, absolutely.
You see people giving $1 million to the UN or giving, you know, some athlete gives $1 million to you know, relief for Ukraine, which is amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
But we just see some kingdom givers,
absolutely,
some kingdom builders say, you know what, I get to build God's house. We're a part of building the one thing God wants to build more than anything else, his house.
And that's something that's interesting because, you know, sometimes we get around people that they're used to kind of just breathing in, but not you know, breathing out, kind of receiving and not giving. And there's some people that think, man, you know, I want to change that culture around me. But it does begin with us. I think a lot of people think that as pastors, you're a pastor now, I'm pastoring, that pastors don't give.
Yeah.
We're the biggest givers in our church.
You better be.
Right? Because if not.
You can only reproduce what you are.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
I always say, you know, I can tell a generous church, the pastor's generous, the church is generous. And when the church is generous and the pastor's generous, the people. That's right. People come speak at my church, like, man, that's just such a blessing, you know, because I understand what I sow is what I'm going to reap, and it's going to flow down to each person.
We produce who we are.
And, well, you know, the Bible talks about there's a gift, the gift of faith, the gift of miracles, the gift of healing. Right. There's some people have the gift of giving. That's right. You'll have entrepreneurs, you have business people that, or people that's their gift. My gift is to give. My gift is not the children's ministry. I don't like kids. I barely like my own. I'm kidding. My friend, he has 8 kids. He goes, I don't even like kids. He goes, I really like my wife a lot. But anyway, so I'm always, you know, how can I use my gift, the gift of giving,
and it's contagious,
to be a blessing. But you know, with the gift of giving comes the gift of getting. Right? Because how's God going to use you to do big things for the kingdom financially if you're not being blessed?
He's supplies seed to the sower.
And that's where you got to, people say, well, what if you get greedy? You know, well, giving is the cure for greed. I'm never worried about being greedy. I like giving too much. That's so giving good. It cures me from being greedy. So the more God blesses me, I'm not like, well, I'm going to keep all this. I'm like, oh man, think how much more I can help. Think how much of a difference I can make. I mean, we're getting ready to build an expansion here, you know, at Victory Outreach in San Diego, and it's going to take resources to do that, right? I mean, wouldn't it be amazing? Somebody, hey, Pastor, put me down for $1 million. You know, put me down for 100,000, whatever it may be. Absolutely. Yeah, man, God used me to be that kind of a blessing. Yeah. But it's getting your mindset, like, thinking there. I want to be able to do more than I'm doing right now. Most people are like, do we have to do 10%? Do we? I'm like, I'm not looking for ways not to give to God. I'm looking for ways to give to God. I don't have to do this. I get to do this. Yes. My goodness, God gave his only son for me.
That's right.
I mean, he gave his very best for me. Why would I not want to give my very best to him?
So good,
you
Dave.
know?
So
I'm not looking for ways out. I'm looking for ways to.
Absolutely.
10%, I'm hoping 20, 30, 40%.
Absolutely. That's what I always say. Find out what God's blessing, get in on it, because that means there's a blessing for us, you know, and it's a joy. And I just feel like, you know, it's been a great talk, Dave.
Yeah,
you
man,
know,
it's always good to be with you.
Man, bro, I hope that people who are hearing today and tuning in today, whether they're anytime, that they're getting something really powerful out of this. And I do feel that it's such a critical hour. This message is important for what people are going through right now in this season. Yeah. We're in a rebuilding phase, man. Our country's in a rebuilding phase. Families are in a rebuilding phase. Business owners are in a rebuilding phase. So listen, tune into this. Tune in again and again and again, and be a giver. And how you can give is you can subscribe to the podcast, and that's just using your fingers. So
share it.
Share it.
Give this hope and give this message. And people need a message of hope right now. So be a hope dealer, right?
That's so good.
And share this, spread it with someone else. That'll be an encouragement to them to get back up and get back in the game.
Absolutely. And pick up one of Dave's books. We have another shot. He has a new book out called Mindset Matters, and we've talked about that before. Also, The Force of Favor is one of your best-selling books. 12 Traits of the Greats is one of my favorite. Yeah. I really love that book. It's a great read. It's a great read. So
they're all available, so grab them.
How do they get them?
They can go to davemartin.org is the easiest place to find them all. Of course, they're also Amazon and all those places, Barnes & Noble. But yeah, and we this one, we've given tens of thousands of these to prisoners.
Okay, good.
All across America. Right. For years, we did that. Every time you buy one, we give one to a prisoner. Oh, man. And who needs another shot, who could use another shot. Absolutely. So that's been something cool.
And that's right up our alley. So yeah. And if they buy one on your website, they get another one for your
When we give one away.
You give one away.
Yeah.
Beautiful, man. Well, listen, guys, thanks for tuning in to Catch Fire Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, Dave.
Hey,
bro.
Thanks, man.
Let's do it again, man.
All right.
Talk to you soon.